An absolutely gigantic signal is flashing for the Bitcoin price right here, right now. Will this signal potentially lead to another monster move here in the short term? Let's dive in and analyze what is going on, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. This is an interesting one here today, as not many people are talking about this, and I don't believe many people will ever talk about this because it's not the popular opinion here inside the cryptocurrency space, and that is why today's analysis is so important. So let's get right down to it. But of course, before we do in fact begin, if you could, smash that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for that. And if you are brand new, welcome to the most realistic Bitcoin technical analysis channel you are ever going to find. Hit that subscribe button, tick the little bell, select all, and let's get this crypto. Welcome to the channel. So first, before we go into the signals and things of that nature, let's begin with the structural components of this trend right here, right now, okay? So before we had this little pump here, in my opinion, we were trading in what could be a bearish pattern, right? A descending triangle pattern formation. And the reason for this being bearish is it's just the exact opposite of what we saw the entire way up, which was a series of consecutive higher highs, one after the other after the other. Now we put in our top, and we've actually been creating a series of descending highs, right? Showing that the bulls have gotten weaker and weaker with each attempt to the upside. The silver lining here is that we did wind up holding a key area of support, but this is exactly what creates the possible bearish descending triangle pattern formation, that this line of support, if tested too many times, could actually act as a trap door before a much further move to the downside. Everything was looking like we could have been setting up for that type of structure to break and give way. Then all of a sudden, we had Uncle Elon Musk, came in and changed his Twitter bio to #Bitcoin. We then saw a short squeeze. We had FOMO buying. We had Moon Boys in a frenzy, buying right at the resistance level. It pushed us up temporarily, squeezed some of the shorts out, hit some stop losses, hit some liquidations. And then after all that, boom, right back down to the level from which we once came. So it's almost like nothing has happened here, folks, right? This action in and of itself, we're trading right back at the region that we were several days prior. So right now, to me, this is an incredibly neutral range. Very difficult to trade at this very moment, in my opinion. Why is that? Well, sure, we broke above this initial resistance, right? This was resistance here. We broke above it. Now we've been rejected. And for the time being, we are actually still holding it as new local support. But we still are right on the brink of dropping below it and possibly then seeing it become resistance again, right? So it's a very difficult region here for new positions to be opened, in my opinion. Now, on the overall, from a more macro perspective, I still think there are a ton of warning signs here that this still could potentially be in a bearish corrective phase. I mean, in and of itself, right, this was just a little fake out here. We got rejected pretty quickly. We still are not on a higher high trajectory here, even though we did take out this high. On the overall, folks, we still are on a lower macro high trajectory. If we flip on our Keltner channels, you guys know that I have been following the Keltner channels here for quite some time now. And for me here, this is what we want to see in an uptrend, trading above the channels, using that top line as support. If we test back down into it, we do see the bottom line act as support, get back above the band, support back above the band, and then continue action like that. Right now, for the first time, we're seeing something different, okay? In the sense that we tested down to the bottom of the band, which we really hadn't done. Even these times, we never got to the bottom of the band. Close, but we never got there. Up here, we tested down to the bottom of it twice. We actually closed, we saw wicks rather, form underneath there, and then close the candle bodies right around the bottom of the channel. This is what's known here as a breakthrough on this indicator. These are two warning shots fired, okay? When you start to break through the bottom of the band, it can signal potential weakness. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not the signal that we're talking about in the thumbnail of the video yet. I'm just, building the stage here, setting the table for the overall picture before we get into a much more in-depth analysis, okay? So we have two breakthroughs here. Then upon testing the top of the band, which with ease, this whole trend, we've been able to get right above and then actually use the top of it as support. We got to the top here and got rejected. I mean, huge bearish wick, rejected, and now we're not even up towards the top of the band anymore right now. This is a warning sign to me here because what winds up happening is that in bear trends, just the opposite of this uptrend here, where you keep using the top line as support, you trade near the top of the band most of the time. In a downtrend, you wind up trading towards the bottom of the band or the middle band most of the time. And when you do wind up seeing a bounce to the top of the channel, just like we had up here, it then can act as resistance, okay? And let me just show you a quick example of this, just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about here, right? That you could see we had our blow off top, test the bottom, go up, rejection, test the bottom, go up, rejection, bottom, top, rejection, rejection. I think you get the picture. Even on a crazy pump like this, trading all under and at the bottom of the band, pump right to the top, rejection, right? So that's what I'm seeing here on the Keltner channel. It's just a warning shot fired. Now, the alligator I've been showing you guys, right now, this is a momentum indicator. Basically, for me, there's not too big of an alarm going off at this moment, but I just want you to understand the structural difference. We went from an absolutely nice, fluid, moving, momentous uptrend here, widening bands, action trading above it, to now, we did have a bearish cross here for the first time in quite some time. And our alligator is very flat right now, signaling that, hey, maybe this large trend here, this move in particular is done, right? Maybe it's done for now and it's signaling, hey, maybe we are moving into a corrective phase. And also, before we get into the real meat and potato of the signal here, rather the meat and potatoes of the signal that I'm talking about for this video, I just want to show you guys the Bollinger Bands here on the weekly time frame. This has been a very, very ominous signal in the past, trading above the weekly Bollinger Band, then closing a weekly candle below it. We've seen this happen many times throughout Bitcoin's last bull run, okay, the last huge bull run from 2016 all the way through 2017. We saw many times that when we saw the weekly candles trade above the band, then go back under, that it has led to some serious corrections, many of which have actually gone back down to the median pink line of this Bollinger Band, which in this case is the 20-week moving average. You could see how many times that's occurred throughout history. Of course, past performance does not indicate future results, but right now what I'm stating is that mixed with all of this information, right now we are closing weekly candles under the band after trading outside of them for a while. And we do have this median line here, the 20-week moving average, right now is at about 21,699 here on my chart at the time of recording. This is interesting because it does happen to coincide with this area of confluence for me, which is right around this region. You could see, let's get a rectangle. This whole range here in particular is my area of focus if the bears are to take control. And why is that? Well, this was our bull flag resistance before we broke out to 42,000, and we did have a little miniature bull flag right there as well. So this whole area, very interesting for me, and it also does coincide with our old all-time high peak from 2017, which then could act as that psychological old resistance, which now could potentially look to be back-tested and act as new support. Let's get this crypto. So now let's move into the real signal that I believe is potentially flashing right now on the Bitcoin chart. And if you are enjoying thus far, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, tick the little bell, select all, let's get this crypto. And if you could, that thumbs up would be so greatly appreciated. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Okay, let's get this crypto. Now, let's move over to the US dollar index chart. We're going to look at the daily time frame here, okay? I want you to understand, if you're new to this channel, you may not know the correlation yet. This huge downturn in the US dollar index was our 2016-2017 bull run for Bitcoin and crypto, okay? This right here, the uptick in the DXY, this was during some of our most heinous bear markets for Bitcoin. This move, starting in March of 2020 till now, another huge bear market for the US dollar index. This has been our entire bull run for crypto right now. So essentially, sure, again, history does not have to repeat itself. It does not even have to look similar. But If we were to see a breakout to the upside now for the US dollar, I believe it's very possible that this could put some very bearish pressure on Bitcoin. Right now, we have been trading inside of a possibly bullish falling wedge pattern, okay? Where if we break the neckline here, the trend line rather of resistance, that we could be due for a larger breakout to the upside. I want to show you this here, folks. As of today, we have officially seen a break of this line. Of course, it's still way too early to tell if there'll be follow through here. It could wind up being a fake out just like that one up there. But we are beginning to get hints now that, hey, this may potentially be bottoming out here. We may start to see a break of resistance. If we can close daily candle bodies above this resistance range, I think it's certainly possible that we could see continued upside action here, okay? Also notice that where we bounced off of in the rough general vicinity was this yellow line, which is a historic confluence line, which dates all the way back into the 1980s, okay? And it was actually our double top range here back in the financial crisis of 2009 to 2010 here, okay? So this was our old double top resistance, which now is potentially looking to act as a double bottom support, right? Classic technical analysis, old resistance flipping into new support. Let's get this crypto. So this brings us to the next point here, right? That if this is to continue breaking out of this potentially bullish pattern, if we are to see this rise up, the next two things that we have to keep on our radar, three actually. One is the rate of inflation, right? Because that's the big popular thing here in this space, is that everybody says, but Kirby, they're printing so many dollars. How could the US dollar index rise in its value? Well, it's more than that, right? You know, it's very simple economics to understand the value of a currency and what, you know, drives supply and demand and things like that. In the crypto world, many people only like to look at it from a very linear perspective of they're printing more, so that must mean that the value goes down. I do get that, but that's a very juvenile thought process, and that's not really how this works. There are way more moving parts to how fiat dollars are valued at certain times. And we're going to get into some very in-depth charts on that in just a moment. But I also want you to keep on your radar the U.S. stock markets as well in concern to the U.S. dollar. As we could see here, if we are going to see a correction of some sort after last week's bearish weekly candle, if there is going to be any follow through here on the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, if we do see a pullback, right, this could result to the US dollar rising as people are liquidating their shares of equities, right? And they are receiving US dollars for those equities, right? Which would give a demand for the US dollar and a change in possibly what the demand is, where the demand here has been all for equities, and that demand can shift from equities to the US dollar if we are to see a sell-off, right? Let's get this crypto. Hope you're with me thus far. Lots to discuss here, okay? So now that we discussed that, let's move into this chart here, okay? The velocity of money. This is what I'm talking about here, folks, and the fact that right now the velocity of money is very, very low in the US, okay? And notice this time here, the velocity of money is basically how fast money is changing hands from one person to the next, one person to a business, etc. You could see that all throughout the 70s and 80s up into the 2000s, even beginning in the 60s here, 60s to the 2000s, the velocity of money was definitely in an uptrend, okay? Now, we're in a significant downtrend. And now I want to go over to this chart. This is the inflation chart for consumer prices, all right? And I know already that the comment section economists are going to say, but Kirby, these charts, they're not real. They don't show the real rates of inflation. I understand, but this is the chart we have to look at, okay? And even in general, right, whether the numbers are exactly correct or not based upon their reporting and how they do their calculations, the chart probably still looks the same. Whether the numbers are correct or not, the general shape of the chart probably looks correct, right? I hope you're with me on that. So notice, from the 60s all the way up to the 80s, we had huge inflation, okay? That was directly correlating with the velocity of money being very fast, right? Now that we've seen the velocity of money chart on a decline, look at this. We've seen the inflation on a decline as well. So when money's not changing hands very quickly, and of course we are in a very obscure time in this world right now, folks, things are definitely still not open yet on a global scale. The economy is definitely not where it was even just 1 year ago. So the velocity of money is very low. And I think in that type of scenario, it's very difficult for inflation to be realized immediately. Right. So for me, with the Bitcoin price and this narrative of that they're just printing more, so it means that the price must go down. The thing is, folks, is that I don't necessarily believe that that's 100% true. I think there are many different moving parts here that are being just completely neglected here by many in the crypto space purely because of their excitement and their want and desire for Bitcoin to succeed. It's very easy to throw this information to the side and make believe that it doesn't exist, and that purely just because they're printing more means that the US dollar must immediately go to zero, hyperinflation is coming, and Bitcoin is going to the moon. To me, that's a speculative farce of a narrative. I don't necessarily believe that that has to be true immediately, though when the velocity of money does happen to pick back up, let me get back to that chart. When we do see the velocity of money begin to pick up here and we do see a bottom and we start to see possibly a V-shaped recovery, something like this, that's when things get worrisome, right? Where inflation could start to be realized on mass scale. And we could at that point then start to see the effect on Bitcoin really, really take shape. But for right now, with it down here, for me, it's very tough to think that inflation is going to be realized very, very shortly here. So I hope you do appreciate this in-depth analysis here, right? This is, not something that you usually see on a daily basis. So if you are appreciating, that thumbs up would be so greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. And if you are brand new, welcome to the most realistic Bitcoin technical analysis channel you are ever going to find. Hit that subscribe button, tick the little bell, select all, and let's get this crypto. Welcome to the channel. Let's briefly, now just before we wrap things up, let's take a quick look here at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Okay. Basically, right now, I want to show you that this is still in warning territory for me, right? You could see here, folks, that we basically topped out. We saw a huge, huge dump, and we have seen a small V-shaped recovery right now. To me, it looks very similar to what we saw back in June of 2019 before our pop from 14,000 down to under 4,000, okay? We saw a huge sell-off, V-shape, then another huge sell-off, V-shape, another huge sell-off all the way down. Right now, this is still very worrisome for me in regards to where we could be in the overall trend. You guys know I love to pull up the Wall Street cheat sheet, Psychology of a Market Cycle. I still don't want to rule it out of the equation that 42,000 could have potentially been a short-term market cycle top before a huge correction, possibly even down to 20,000 or below. Okay, I'm not saying that has to occur. I'm just stating that I think that would be normal, and it would not be, out of the anything out of the realm of normalcy. I don't know how else to put that if that were to occur. Okay, let's get this crypto. Let's take a look here as well. Google Trends data for Bitcoin, worldwide data past 5 years. It's seeing a plunge here. I mean, this is certainly a warning sign, folks, for me. I mean, we've seen in the past when we've seen these plunges, it's led to catastrophic declines, and it has signaled market cycle tops, at least for the short term, okay? Doesn't have to play out like that this time. I'm just stating this is very worrisome for me with a dip of this magnitude. Same on the Ethereum chart here. Wow. I mean, this one's dipped even more from a 100 all the way to a 65. So right now, I don't think Ethereum is out of the woods either. This could, be very, very worrisome here moving forward. So right now, as I stated earlier in the video, if you're still with me and you really are appreciating, then you understand why I'm looking at this so in depth here. And it's because we're at a crossroads, right? As I stated, it's in my opinion, very, very difficult at this specific region to speculate where this trend is going to go from here right now in the very short term. So what I'm doing right now is monitoring all of these charts around the clock, 24/7, like a hawk with an eagle eye, preparing to strike like a cobra out of the grass and get this crypto. If you want to see exactly where I'll be looking to set up my next trade idea, right? When I finally see what I perceive to be that high reward, low risk trade setup to potentially crush it and get this crypto, if you want to see that, my exact entry idea, my exact potential take profit idea, everything like that, my strategies, all of this, well, I will be keeping you up to date with that exclusively in VIP. So if you're not already in my VIP and you want to see all of that from me, well, today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I'll see you in VIP right now after this video. Okay? So just stay on your toes here, folks. I mean, we're at the breaking point range. I'm still under the impression here that we probably are going to see a huge candle come in at some point here, that a whale, or rather a large entity, is going to have to come in here with some liquidity, as right now the volume is just pitifully low, especially compared to what we saw here at the top, right? Look at the volume compared to what we're seeing right now at this very moment. I think we are going to have to see some volume come in here, a large entity break this trend in a decisive direction before we really get some movement, because this here right now, it's worrisome for me. This sideways chop is worrisome from a bullish perspective. Okay, put it that way. And yeah, I'll be looking to potentially eviscerate, crush, and vanquish this next move. So if you do want to see how I'll be personally strategizing and preparing for my trade setup ideas for this potential breakout right here, right now, telling you folks, I'll keep you updated with that exclusively in VIP. Today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I'll see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. So as these moon boys and degenerates continue to live a life of peril and squalor, the Don will continue to grind for every Satoshi and dollar. Let's get this crypto. You already know this, folks. But the way that I'm able to remain so objective, cool, calm, and collected inside this market is because the Don has truly been up the mountain. The Don has been down the mountain. And quite frankly, the Don has also been everywhere in between. And I have wined and dined with kings and queens, and I have slept in alleys and dined on pork and beans. And I'll tell you, my friends, the Don prefers the whining queens every single time. So on that note, I will be looking to potentially crush this market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can, and I will keep you up to date with that in VIP. I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. Today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I'll see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. If you could, one last time, that thumbs up would be so greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. And if you are brand new, welcome to the most realistic Bitcoin technical analysis channel you are ever going to find. Hit that subscribe button, tick the little bell, select all, and let's get this crypto. Welcome to the channel. On that note, folks, I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs. Oh, and beware of the fake Kirby imposters down in the comment section. I will never post a phone number on your comment. I will never send you any type of unsolicited email. That is not me. You can see the 2 examples down below. They have the same name as me, but they're posting phone numbers. They're using very weird typing to get around the spam filter. That is not me. This is an example of my real comment here. You can see the nameplate has a gray background to it, and I do leave a creator heart next to the thumbs up, so you can validate that that is me. I generally only post the VIP information in a pinned comment, so you know that is me there. My friends, don't fall for any of the fakes. Be smart, be safe. I'll see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto.
The material in this video has no regard to the specific investment objectives, financial situation, or particular needs of any viewer. This video is presented solely for informational and entertainment purposes and is not to be construed as a recommendation, solicitation, or an offer to buy or sell any securities, commodities, cryptocurrencies, or any related financial instruments, nor should any of its content be taken as investment advice. Crypto Kirby is not a financial advisor. The views expressed in this video are completely speculative opinions and do not guarantee any specific result or profit. Trading and investing is extremely high risk and can result in the loss of all of your capital. Any opinions expressed in this video are subject to change without notice. Crypto Kirby is not under any obligation to update or keep current the information contained herein. Crypto Kirby may have an interest in the securities, commodities, cryptocurrencies, and or derivatives of any entities referred to in this material. Crypto Kirby accepts no liability whatsoever for any loss or damage of any kind arising out of the use of all or any part of this material. Crypto Kirby recommends that you consult with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment or trading decisions. Thank you for watching and have a great day.